Discussion on temporary cardiac pacing. Temporary pacing is a life-saving procedure for maintaining the heart rate when it falls markedly, producing features of cerebral hypoperfusion. It can also be done prophylactically during certain procedures when there is a possibility of sudden fall in heart rate. Please subscribe to this channel for future updates. Click on the subscribe button. Press the bell icon after that for all updates. Other reasons for temporary pacing are pacing to overdrive a tachycardia like ventricular tachycardia and pacing at fast rate to stabilize an aortic valvuloplasty balloon during balloon valvuloplasty. Temporary pacing is done prior to permanent pacing to give a good bradycardia support during the procedure. This fluoro shot is that of a temporary transvenous pacing through the femoral vein. The pacing lead is introduced through percutaneous puncture of the femoral vein in the groin. Lead is introduced under fluoroscopic guidance through the inferior vena cava and right atrium into the right ventricular apex. Pacing threshold is checked using the pacing system analyzer or a temporary pacemaker, and the output kept 2 to 3 times above the threshold to ensure regular pacing. Externally, the pacing lead is fixed to the skin to reduce the chance of migration. Temporary transvenous pacing can also be done from the jugular, transjugular pacing, or subclavian routes by percutaneous puncture. Pacing maneuvers are an integral part of an electrophysiology study. In this case, pacing is done from various locations, unlike the usual right ventricular pacing for bradycardia support. Proximal connectors of a pacing lead are shown in this image. Tip of the bipolar temporary pacing electrode has a distal tip electrode and a proximal ring electrode. It is customary to give negative polarity to the tip and positive polarity to the ring electrode, as cathodal pacing has a lower threshold. Threshold is the minimum voltage needed for capturing the chamber paced. Here the tip has a golden color and proximal ring electrode has a silver color. But this is not a universal color code. Some temporary pacing electrodes have same color for both electrodes. Transvenous pacing can also be done at the bedside using balloon-tipped flow-directed catheters introduced by a subclavian puncture. Electrocardiographic monitoring from the tip of the pacing lead can guide us on the chamber in which the lead tip is positioned in the absence of fluoroscopy at bedside. While the tip is in the right atrium, large atrial deflections are recorded, and the pattern changes to an intracardiac ventricular electrogram when the lead tip reaches the right ventricle. Pacing through coronary artery is done as an emergency measure when a patient develops severe bradycardia during a coronary intervention procedure if a temporary transvenous catheter is not already in place. The proximal end of the coronary guide wire can be connected to the temporary pacemaker using a crocodile clip. A needle stuck into the skin can serve as the second electrode. This saves time needed for achieving an urgent femoral venous puncture and sometimes the potential bleeding risk of such punctures in a person who is fully anticoagulated for the coronary intervention. Pacing in an emergency situation can be obtained in the intensive care unit using external pacers which pace through large adhesive electrode patches applied to the chest wall. The disadvantages of transcutaneous pacing are the large current needed and consequent pain due to skeletal muscle stimulation, as well as the often unreliable ventricular capture. At the most, it can be used in standby mode to buy time for arranging a transvenous pacing. ECG shows a paced rhythm at around 60 per minute with pacing spikes preceding each QRS complex. At first look, it may seem that there is P wave before each QRS with a reasonable PR interval suggesting atrial sensed ventricular pacing, A-sense, V-pace, sequence or tracking. But close scrutiny shows that PR interval is gradually varying. The atrial rate is also close to 60 per minute, making false appearance of an AV synchronous pacing in some beats. In analog ECGs, the pacing spikes in temporary pacing are usually small as the pacing is bipolar with both electrodes within the ventricle. In digital ECGs, such small spikes are usually wiped out by the filter settings and the ECG appears like a left bundle branch block pattern. But switching on the pacing detection algorithm in digital electrocardiographs enhances the pacing spike detection, and sometimes the spikes are prominent even with temporary bipolar pacing, as in this case. Otherwise, a large spike indicates unipolar pacing between pacemaker can and lead tip electrode, which can occur only in a permanent pacemaker. The temporary pacemaker cover is non-conducting and situated outside the body without electrical contact. The QRS pattern mimics LBBB pattern with left axis deviation, as is usual with right ventricular apical pacing. If the lead tip slips and paces the right ventricular outflow region, it will give an LBBB pattern with inferior axis. Right bundle branch block pattern, if it occurs in the setting of temporary pacing, may indicate lead tip perforating either the interventricular septum and pacing the left ventricle endocardially, or the right ventricular free wall and pacing the left ventricular epicardium through the pericardial cavity. Here the interval between the pacing spike and the QRS complex is very short, so that there is good conduction at the lead endocardium interface. If that interval is prolonged, it would indicate a first degree exit block at the lead endocardium interface, pacemaker ventricular block. If the block is severe, it can lead to intermittent pacing, second degree pacemaker ventricular block, or loss of capture, exit block. Here is a reference on pacemaker ventricular block. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for future updates and click on the bell icon for all updates. Thank you.